Morning, Ben.
Hey, Kevin, how you doing?
Doing good. Good to see you.
Thanks for coming by today.
Sure. Look forward to spending some time with you.
Well, good. Well, we're here on a little adventure.
All right.
We are trying to explain to the public, the school board candidates, and just sort of who they are and what their interest is and what they believe in, because so many of them are just not really known to the community.
I understand that. I think this is a great service you're providing the voters.
So you're okay with some tough questions?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Look forward to it.
Position 1, okay. So, how did you decide to run for the school board?
You know, Ben, that's a great question, because whenever people talk about election time, it's easy to say, I'm considering running for something, but it's much more difficult once you decide to. But this issue of our own municipal school system is one that is so important to our community that I sat, reflected on it, and decided that this town has done so much for me that I really needed to get involved on this one.
And when you decided and told your wife or friends, what did they say, or what do they think of your motivation is? They said, you must be doing this because of why?
I can't tell you all the responses that I got from my friends. Some wanting to know why I was doing it, and when I explained to them my passion to give back to the community, one that's given me so much, and the school systems are something that the school system and schools have done so much for my family. My wife's a graduate of Collierville High School. My 2 children, well, one child is a graduate of Collierville High School. My son will be graduating this spring. And they've attended Collierville Public Schools their entire academic career, and they've given us a lot. So the other thing that this is an opportunity for our community to differentiate itself in the Mid-South region. And whenever that happens, it's good for everyone involved, and that's the kind of thing I want to be a part of.
So when you say differentiate, what does that mean in your mind? The county is going to end up with, let's say, 4, 5, 6 school systems. What would be the difference in your mind right now, before having a board meeting, but what would you see as being the vision for the Collierville schools? How would it be different from Germantown or Collierville or Arlington or any of the others?
Great question. The Collierville community has always embraced our schools, going back to when the Collierville Education Foundation was formed out of a teacher appreciation luncheon that was given by the realtors, because the Collierville school system drove the growth of our community for many, many years. Mm-hmm. The parent involvement here is one that I believe is unparalleled in this portion of the state. We have the opportunity to continue to invest resources. And when I say resources, not just money, but resources of parents' time, the business community, all of these things coupled together to elevate Collierville to be the place that when people want to move their business, relocate their business, or when they're looking at relocating their families to this area, that we stand head and shoulders above our peer cities in the county. So you believe in good education? Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, you don't actually, I don't need a long answer, because all the candidates are going to say they believe in good education.
Sure, and let me say this, and I'll say this about every one of the other candidates that have filed for this school board, is that if they didn't have a passion for it, they wouldn't be going through this. They wouldn't have put themselves out there to participate, and I salute them all. There's not any scalawags in the group that people need to stay away from. Everyone involved in this race has a commitment and passion for the schools.
All right, you said part of the reason you're doing this is you want to give back to the community, you want to make a difference. Any proof in the last 30 years of your life that that's a passion for you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I think I can point to a few things. I've been heavily involved in our community. I'm currently on the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. I've also served as president of the Rotary Club, and been a trustee of the Rotary Foundation, been a trustee of Leadership Collierville. Currently I'm a trustee at our church, at First Baptist Church, and I think what that points to is a pattern of leadership involved in organizations that serve to promote the quality of life here in town. And then in addition to that, my involvement with the schools goes back from in the days when we used to have a practical economics class when Ms. Sherry Phillips was principal of Collierville Middle School, where I'd come in even before I had children and teach 8th graders how to balance checkbooks, the supply laws of supply and demand. And on top of that, I've been involved through the Rotary Club with raising money. I've been a celebrity reader. I've been involved as a parent with 2 children, having gone through the system. So I think that my participation in the educational process out here is well documented. And then on top of that, through my profession, I've been involved with a lot of facilities work here in this area through my architectural and engineering background.
You spoke about leadership, and you've been on a number of boards. Everybody has a certain style of leadership, and there is no style that's right or wrong. It's just that we have different styles, and the board's going to need a leadership. What style of leadership do you practice? I mean, when you're on these different boards, I mean, there's going to be questions, conflicts, things to be dealt with. How do you deal with that kind of stuff?
I believe that I would have to say my leadership style is one of demonstration. I don't ask people to do things that I'm not willing to do myself. I try to be a good and accurate communicator. I'm not afraid to demonstrate a sense of humor in order to let people know that, in order to demonstrate a point. And it's this initial board is going to be so critical in the fact that we can't come in to this situation having a firm set of doctrine and guidelines that we're going to follow, because the situation that we find ourselves in is one that's fluid and dynamic. We're going to be given information, and this playing field will be changing as we're sitting there because of court rulings, because of negotiations, because of whether or not we have our facilities, what we do about facilities. There's all sorts of, whether or not the county approves the sales tax increase countywide. As we are seated, many of these questions will not be answered and we won't know their impact. So we're going to have to be a board of people who can take information as it comes in and process it and be able to build a system that will stay on the test of time.
And this all happens spending 2-3 hours a week on it? What would be your anticipation?
I've laughingly told my friends, I said, I'm not running for a position, I'm running for a job. This is not going to be a position that you don't get your hands dirty in. I would expect probably at minimum the first 6 months would involve 12 to 16 hours a week, but just because there's so much work from the ground up that has to be addressed. And I think that if we have a board of well-balanced people from different areas of expertise, that between being able to delegate responsibilities out, that we can get the work done in the proper amount of time.
4 years from now, when people look back and they look back on this initial board, what do you think will be defined as a failure or success for a particular board member? I mean, it is a complicated situation. Any ideas how you'd see about, what defines success or failure as a board member?
I think that we've got to have board members. I would look at this as being a team aspect. I think that this first board is going to be judged collaboratively. I think that in collectively as a group, probably more so than as individuals. I think that what people will look back and look for to say, it has been a very tumultuous time, but that our board has been stable. They have been able to enact policies and procedures that have reassured parents that we don't want to be just in the top 500 high schools. We want to be in the top 200 high schools in America. That they believe that their children are being educated in a safe and secure environment, and that our eye has never been taken off that ball.
You've got some history with the schools here in Collierville. Did you say you went to this school?
No,
okay.
I didn't attend. I am a proud graduate of Bolivar Central High School, Bolivar, Tennessee. class of '80. But my wife graduated from this old historic building, and my 2 children attended middle school here.
Okay. Just off the cuff, if you had to think about a change that you'd like to see just in the way the schools are operated compared to the way that Shelby County's operated, any pet peeves or just anything where you'd say, you know, make the lunchroom food better or what?
Shorter hours and more recess. I'll give the kids answers. If the kids could vote, they'd vote for that. No, I think that what I would like to see done is that the Shelby County schools has to be homogeneous to treat areas of our county that are vastly different. Different demographics, different industrial and workforces, what the expectation of the school will provide, and what I would like to see done with our municipal school system. This is our chance to try to elevate ourselves to meet the demands of our citizenry and what we consider the future to be for our children that come from this area. I don't think that our school board needs to differentiate itself any from the overall values of the community. The things that our town holds dear, that's what we should instill in our school system. And being part of a smaller system will allow us to develop policies that will help us to accomplish that.
Let's say that there's a family in the neighborhood, a friend of yours, and they come to you and say, little Johnny's just really mad at his teacher today. His teacher's just not very good. Little Johnny goes to the 3rd grade. Now, that citizen is expecting you to do something. What do you do in that kind of situation?
Well, first, reassure them that, first investigate, because sometimes parents are unaware what little Johnny's up to during the day. But first you have to investigate. Next is as a school board member, you can't go intervening in everyone's problem that they have in a particular day at school. If you did, that's what you'd be doing all day. You'd be the troubleshooter for every family. What we've got to do is make sure that we hire the proper administrators and teachers going into this process, that we feel comfortable that we can allow that parent to have a voice and voice their concerns in that administration to where they can investigate and find out to see exactly what they can do to either make sure that their concerns about a teacher are being addressed, or that their child's problem is being addressed, and however it may need to be.
You brought up a great issue about the school superintendent. How's that decision going to get made? I mean, that's one of the more critical decisions that the initial board's going to make. I'm assuming there's going to be 3 or 4 candidates. They're all going to be well qualified, but there'll be some difference between them. You got any thoughts about what's important to you in the school superintendent?
I hate to sound like a broken record, but it needs to be someone who understands the values of our community. It needs to be, that's why the appropriate answer in this is we're going to begin a nationwide search that allows us to bring in the most talented administrator we can find. I think we do have an open application process for that. However, I'm not afraid to sit here and tell you that there are several people that know this community very well, that know our students, knows what the parents expect from our students, and would be tremendous administrators to lead our system forward. And I think that, again, that will be a process that unfolds as we move further into this process. To me, that's one of the things that is critical about this first board, is we have to have people. I can't, again, stating that the fluidity of the situation as it's going to be approaching us, forcing us to make decisions on a fast-paced basis. You've got to have people that you trust, have a commitment to the children first, but also have a commitment to the balance of the community, that we're going to be good stewards of their tax dollars in order to help fund this and expect it to be a world-class operation.
Okay. Well, hey, that's been great. Thank you for coming in.
Sure thing. Easiest teacher I ever had.
That's right. Thank you.
All right.